a little go with him already, and there's a couple of names kicking off. Oh, here we go. There's a big baby Miller. Not sure what's going to go down here. Get a mic, get a mic.
You got a mic for real, oh shit.
How are you, my boy?
I'm alive, but you know, I got a little bone to pick with you.
We're going to have a chat. Come into my office.
Yeah, you know, I don't agree with everything you say. And a couple years ago when the shit went down with AJ, you was very vocal and verbal. I got a verbal beating from you. I know you say you might not remember, but you do remember. But I take shit personal. You know, I got a memory of an elephant. I know you're doing your job and certain things, but it's how you say it. And I'm a man that's sensitive sometimes.
Did that genuinely upset you when I was talking about what happened before the AJ fight? Because a lot of people were excited because AJ's got his fans, but he's also got his people that want to see him tested and want to see if he's good enough to be in the game. And when what happened with you, when the news got released that you'd failed for PEDS, it was like, what's he doing? And it was disappointing for a lot of people. And I can't even remember what I said. I definitely know I didn't verbally abuse you because it would have been on Sky Sports. So I mean, I'm kind of hoping you're probably not that pissed off because, shit
died out.
I'm up for a straightener if you are.
No. Listen, you know what?
No straighteners? I'm glad you didn't hear that.
Listen, I said what I had to say. You said what you had to say. It's bridge on the water.
You sounded a bit pissed off the other day, dude. It was like,
you know what? It was like AJ, the whole. Every time I hear a bunch of British guys' name pop up, I'm ready to throw some punches.
Yeah.
But, it's cool. The sad part about the whole scenario from the beginning was if Eddie Hearn would have did his due diligence back then, it would have been a lot different. You know what I mean? Because it was a sex pill. We all taken a little Viagra, see how that's before. And if he would have came out the right way and said what he needed to say, it'd have been water on the bridge. But sometimes the loudest person in the room makes the most noise. And it is what it is now. I still want to punch him in the face, but
Well, listen, since then, I watched your fight with Andy Ruiz.
Correct.
Someone who ironed out AJ in the first fight. He got him back in the rematch in Riyadh. I was there that night. He boxed the move.
Bullshit.
Well, you didn't enjoy the fight?
No, I did not. Because I think AJ just ran for his life, and they know Ruiz was partying, hanging out, and he just hurried, put him back and threw a bunch of money at him. Like he bought the belt in Charles Martin fight, and he bought the belt back with the Ruiz second fight. So, like I said, AJ knows how to pick him. Yeah. And when he steps up against real killers, different story.
Well, you fought Ruiz the other day. I thought you won. Thought you did enough. Good little fight as well. Good little fight.
No, it was good.
Thought you did enough, and I feel like there's a lot of people that deserve a shot. And you was there. The opportunity was there. That went. What happens happened. We've moved on. What was it? A couple of 3 years ago. So now, do you like genuinely want to put yourself there to say I'll fight AJ? Because me personally, I think, and I don't want to disrespect you at all, but in terms of a measuring stick for AJ, who's got these world title ambitions, he wants to become a 3-time world champ, he wants to rematch Usyk, apparently, and I mean, he really wants the Fury fight, and he wants the Daniel Dubois rematch more than Usyk, but Usyk's there and he's lost to him twice. But realistically, he's not going to go straight in with that. He's going up for surgery, so you would be considered by people on this team as a bit of a measuring stick. Have I still got it? Can I still do it? Let's fight Baby Miller and find out. But what would you be going into that fight thinking? I mean,
you got to think about it. Realistically, I'm the #1 heavyweight in America. Regardless of inactivity right now, I bring it, I talk it, and I walk the walk. So the main thing right now is if AJ really believes in himself, because he said he wanted to fight Jarrell Anderson or some nonsense like that. But we all know Jarrell Anderson's not mentally that day. He's physically doesn't have his man strength as yet. Maybe in 2-3 years, a couple more fights, I think Anderson will be a good, tough opponent. But he's not there manly in that, I feel like. So I feel like I'll be the perfect person. Everybody wants to see that Sky Sports interview we did a couple years ago. I could talk the talk and walk the walk. But I feel Eddie Hearn wants that more than AJ. I feel like AJ's definitely running for the hills. As a matter of fact, he turned the fight down 4 times in the last month. So
just roll back that.
It's recently.
He's turned it down already.
Yeah, Turkey has made previous phone calls. He doesn't want that fight. So that's what makes you skeptical about his heart. Because you say you want to fight a good opponent, but really you're looking for a tune-up. So Jarrell Anderson's really a tune-up for him, but they're trying to sell it as a tough fight.
Yeah. So, I mean, I feel that I have already said it. I've been vocal about it. I think Anthony he's had his career. He's had his highs, he's had his lows, and he's finished on an almighty crash down with Daniel Dubois ironing him out at Wembley Stadium.
100%.
I mean, that was a bad knockout. And I feel his confidence has gone, and I don't think he can rebuild it unless he wants to fight lower level tier fighters, like journeyman type fighters.
I think you should.
I don't think you're a journeyman.
Not
I think you're going to
100%
give people a tough fight.
100%.
And I think you give AJ a really, really tough fight that could go either way. Would you go into that fight confident? How would you tackle the fight? Would you meet him head on?
I'll run him right over. I think the boy had the right mentality. He was going to box for a little bit. He realized that AJ was trying to jump on him, and he went to blow with AJ. He got the best of it. I've always said from before, even from the beginning, I'm good at reading people, and I knew AJ was suspect. I knew his heart was suspect. You know, when you're built up in your background and your playground, you feel like you're the baddest man on the planet. When you step out of your comfort zone, you realize you're the small fish in the pond. He came to America one time, got his ass whooped, and never came back. Unfortunately, he's big in the UK, he's big in Europe, but nobody in America gives a fuck about AJ. So the thing is right now is I want to take over the American market, of course, but I definitely want that fight with him because I know if he gets knocked out one more time, it's game over. He's done.
If you could say something to Eddie Hearn to try and get this fight, I mean, I'll be saying a few things anyway. I think this fight should happen. I think it's a great fight. Well, it's not a great fight for Anthony Joshua because I think he's going to struggle. I think he needs a tune-up before maybe a Tyson Fury. Or does he deserve a Tyson Fury fight? We don't even know.
I don't think he deserves a Tyson Fury. I think the guys for him is like either me or Deontay, or who else? You got Martin Bacoli. Guys are like in that top 3 to 10 area. You know, I'm three in the WBA, and I'm working on WBC. I'm working on getting all the rankings again.
Have you seen much of Fabio Wardley? Because he can punch a bit.
Well, listen, I totally forgot about that Fabio Wardley. Of course, the fight fell through due to I had an injury and some other things. But I said I would love to get the fight back with Fabio Wardley. It just has to be an even playing field. You know, unfortunately, you know, with the British Board of Boxing, they don't like us Americans over there, but at the end of the day, you understand that we also make a market too. We also are fan favorites. People like the shit talking. It's part of the game. It's part of providing.
I like a little bit of shit talk myself.
Yeah, 100%.
Sometimes it gets me into trouble, but I'm a good talker. I'll get myself out of it.
He's a great shit talker. He's a great shit talker.
What would you say to Eddie Hearn now about this fight?
You know what, cousin Eddie? I know me and you have our problems back and forth in the past, but let's get this shit on. We have a bunch of footage we can release, a lot of media to do, and this fight would sell more than any other fight that AJ's ever had in the UK. I know for a fact. We can make it happen. But if you really, really want to make this fight happen, it's really up to you. So don't talk tough. Because I know you still got some pussy on you.
Those are the words of Carl Froch and Jarrell Miller. Now, at the beginning, I thought this was going to be Carl Froch versus Jarrell Miller. But I've been corrected. I stand corrected. It was a different story, you know, and I thought, now understanding that the enemy of the enemy is my friend. You know what I mean? So it wasn't any, hey, yeah, you a pussy, you a bitch. I don't care about you. This, that, and the other. No, this was cordial. He was on Carl Froch on fighting and pretty much promoting the brand of Carl Froch. Carl Froch has, you know, has transitioned to become a very successful, independent commentator. And this shows the numbers don't lie. And I also want to add, Jarrell Miller can also become a pretty good commentator whenever he decides to retire. I mean, he has the gift of gab and he speaks too well and he articulates above average to the point where that will go right up his alley. He could definitely go into a field of commentation after his career is over. That I got to say before going into the rest of the stuff. Now, we all know, because I've already posted a video about Eddie Hearn turning down Jarrell Miller's offers, and then they were really from Turkey al-Sheikh. So that's what I found out during this interview. And Eddie claims there weren't any offers. Well, you know, somebody's lying. You see what I mean? I do think, and I think that's the elephant in the room, and I think the elephant's name is Jarrell Miller. That fight was a fight that was going to happen that didn't happen. And because it was so big when it was going to happen, that's the reason for it to happen in the future. Especially the footage that Sky Sports, they're just sitting on. They're sitting on this footage. Nobody, I don't know if anyone has seen this footage. I would love to have it. I would love to have that footage just to see it. You couldn't repost it, you'll get sued. But just to see the footage, because they got a lot of backstory, backstage, behind the scenes, raw material between Jarrell Miller and Anthony Joshua, to the point Joshua got so out of character that he was cussing every breath. You know, you get a guy that's supposed to be a stand-up guy. You met the Queen of England and all that shit. And, you know, and then you get over to the USA and you let a guy from Brooklyn make you become totally unglued. That's not a good thing. But it also means that this guy's got under your skin, so something has to be done about it, right? Now, as far as Jarrell Miller goes, I don't know what he's going to do. I think he just needs to keep fighting, and he needs to stay uninjured, stay away from the dick pills. Let's be real. Stay away from them. You know, because he doesn't need anything that's going to make him pop. You know what I mean? And was the last issue that he allegedly had, was with those drugs. Now, speaking of drugs, people, I will say this about Jarrell Miller. He is now taking the drug allegations a lot better than he did before. You come to Jarrell Miller 3 or 4 years ago talking about drug allegations, he might slap you. You might as well come up to Mike Tyson talking about the SA allegations. That's how, you know, sensitive it is. It's a sensitive topic, right? So he is doing a lot better with that, you know, because indeed Carl Froch did bring it up. But, you know, Jarrell Miller and Anthony Joshua, that's the fight that should be made. You know what I mean? It should be made. Not Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder needs another tune-up fight, in my opinion. But Anthony Joshua himself definitely needs Jarrell Miller to fight, especially if it's not a Tyson Fury or it's not Martin McCauley. It's someone like Jarrell Miller, you know, Jared Anderson. You know, if they're going to fight Jared, they're probably going to fight Jared. But why fight Jared when you can fight Jarrell Miller? They both have one loss. You know what I mean? And the thing is, it's who's the loss to. I would rather fight the guy that beat me, that beat this guy also, than fight the guy that got beat by someone that I never fought. You know, you have to connect the dots in boxing, and this story tells a lot when it comes to boxing, especially of who beat who and when. The stories are already written, and then it's a type of sport that just keeps on writing, depending on who's the victor and who's the loser in situations. But you guys tell me what you think of Jarrell Miller and Carl Froch face to face, finally, after the alleged beef. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch.